Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. It's great to see everyone. Once again, I want to thank you all for sharing these videos, subscribing to it, and letting others know about it because this is a space to help people who are grieving, who are going through trauma due to loss and depression, etc. We're here to talk about these issues, and mainly I share a lot of things here about what's helped me since I've gone through all of the above. And I just want to thank everybody for your support. It is greatly appreciated, and thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about being a survivor. But before I get into that, just wanted to say I hope everyone is having a great day and that you all are doing well and that this information here on this channel is helping you. Perhaps you're getting some tidbits here that you can use that has helped me. And that's the purpose of this channel here today. And for newcomers, thank you for being here as well. And please, at the end of this video, like, subscribe, and keep sharing with others. Thank you. What I wanted to say here before we get started into the conversation of being a survivor um, is that I can, could never understand why people are envious or jealous of someone who works so hard to accomplish the things that they have accomplished in life. And what I mean by that, I have some notes here so I don't forget anything. Um, when someone can hate on somebody that they don't know and someone who's going through hell and back, they don't know that person's life, they don't know what they had to do. And when I say what they had to do, all of the trauma and hurdles they had to climb over in order to get from A to B, and people are hating on that because of their envy and jealousy. I never understood that when you don't know a person, get to know a person, get to know what they're doing, and they just gossip about people they don't know, spread, lies, untruths, I like to call them. And what I like to say about that to people who may be experiencing that, that's why I'm talking about it as well, because I experience it, probably still behind the scenes am experiencing it, is know the person that is being gossiped about and know the party who's doing the gossip. Look at the life of the person who's spreading the venom and look at the life of the person who's being gossiped about. And then you would know what is truth because it will always speak for itself no matter what. And people trying to set other people up for failure is not a good idea. And this is why I stay in prayer a lot. I stay close to God. I share with others what helped me, and I stay in meditation. That's so important to me. Before I came on this channel today, I listen to a playlist of music because it helps me, and I'm in prayer before I come on. That helps me as well to stay positive in that positive frame of mind because it's so easy to get, depressed or experience a high level of despair because of everything that's going on in the world today. You can't even watch the news and hear anything positive. And when I do now, it's like, oh, wow, a positive story because I don't take in a lot of that stuff because it's negative, but I listen to what I need to and then I turn it to something else. But when I hear a positive story, it's like, wow, because you rarely hear that. The world is spinning mostly on misery and negativity. And I try to take in as little as possible of that. You can't ignore all of it 100% because it's all around us. But, I don't play into it. And I'm saying all of this to say, the title of this discussion today is Being a Survivor. And the reason why I made that title is because I'm talking about situations where people don't know who I am. And I'm going to share something here. Originally from New York, and I am a survivor of 9/11, which a lot of people don't know that, but I'm going to talk about it here today on this channel because the things that I talk about here is going to help people who are privately suffering from some type of trauma or situation related to some experience that they've gone through. Because grief doesn't only have to be about losing loved ones, it could be trauma and other things that happen. So we're going to address those issues as well. And I was at work, but I was driving at the time, and I was in Manhattan. And what happened is that I was let's say I was an electrician for a while, so I was driving to the place where I was supposed to be working uh, at the time, and I was crossing the bridge, Queensboro Bridge, and that's when I saw the first plane hit. And when that happened, automatically my intuition kicked in and said, wow, because I was watching this and it went directly into the World Trade Center. Boom. And you see the explosion, etc. 2 minutes after, when the second one hit, of course, you know there's something going on. So I was in the midst of it. Because after I got off the Queensboro Bridge, I'm in Manhattan into the city. And when I think about all this unnecessary gossip and slander and drama and stuff, I go back and I think about 9/11. And first of all, I thank God every day that I was able to get out of there before, I wasn't a casualty. Um, because it was bad. The smoke was really thick. You would have thought the world had came to an end. I mean, the smoke was so thick you could barely see. People were screaming. I saw people jump from buildings because they had no way out. There was people who I worked with who was in the World Trade Center at the time, and some of them were in the elevator calling the because I worked through the union at the time, calling the union asking what should they do because they had no answer for them, and those people lost their life. And I saw people losing their life like I've never did before. Okay, people were jumping from buildings because the buildings were burning and they had no way out. But what with all of this going on, people came together. No matter what culture or background that they came together and was helping other people who were in need of help. And that's what I noticed as well. And the whole time it was just horrific. You hearing all these screams, help me, people jumping, people trying to get away. And then all this thick smoke is coming and people losing their life, and it took, I don't know, it took 8 hours or so before I was actually able to get out of that scene altogether. But I thank God every day that I was able to, because a lot of people lost their life, and it was people who I worked with as well. I think that day it must have been about 7 of them in an elevator who worked, who I, knew, and some of them, and they worked at the same job that I had at that time, and they lost their life. And, it was horrific. For those who heard about this on the news is one thing, but actually being there and being in the midst of all that was very traumatizing, and the thick smoke and everything that was happening. And no one knows what that's like unless you've gone through something like that. And I value life and I value living the best life, because that situation was very traumatizing. It was, I can't even describe to you, and it was real, and seeing all of that. So be grateful for life, and try to, if you have anything that has traumatized or affected your life, where it brings on um, depression or any anxiety, that's the other word I want to say, anxiety, please Google a therapist from the state that you're in And never ever think that getting a therapist means that you have um, problems like you're mentally unstable or anything like that. It is to help you to deal with it. Because, like I said before in some prior videos here, is that in my house, when things would take place, what I was always told what goes on here stays here. And that is not that's not accurate. That shouldn't be the case, is what I'm saying. Because if you're not dealing with the trauma and the situations that are occurring, then they stay stagnated within you, and you can't grow and you can't expand and you can't heal from it, and you're always going to have problems with that. So it's important. You don't have to let everyone know your business, that you're going to you see a therapist and you talk. um, that's something private between you and the therapist, and any information that you share with them must stay private. There are HIPAA laws in place, and never feel ashamed or etc. Because we're in human form, we all need help from time to time. And that's another way to self-love on yourself, is to get the help that you need. Because if you have a mental or physical health situation, you can't be the best you can't take care of yourself, and surely you can't take care of anyone else. So it's important. So I always say I'm not a licensed therapist of any sort. I do have a college degree, but not in social work or anything like that. It's actually in business management and marketing. But I'm here to share what's helped me. And I come from a family who looked down on getting help, like through therapists and things of that nature. But I do what I have to for me, and it's helpful to me. Because not only dealing with that, when nine I mean not besides 9/11, when 2020 occurred and this COVID situation took place, and all these people died, including my mom, my dog, and friends, from church and stuff. That was very traumatizing to me, because it was just like a domino effect. One person died, a week later, somebody else, and somebody else the next week, and so forth. And then I lost my dog to top it all off. And it was just overwhelming. Also, being a survivor of 9/11. So, add all those things together, and it was important for me to do therapy. I do that once a week to this very day, and I'm not ashamed of it, because I'm better. Because I would not be if I wasn't doing that, and if I wasn't applying the methods that the therapist was giving me into my own life. And also prayer and staying close to God helps me tremendously. I tell you, after that raging whatever I had with God for a long time, I made peace with it. And things have gotten better in my life. But I had gone through all this hell, beforehand. And now I learned how to do things in a different manner, and to get people out of my life who are stuck on toxicity and negativity, and just creating negativity everywhere they go. I had situations like that in my life. That's why I was talking about jealousy, envy, etc. Because healing is everything to me. Because without it, I can't function properly, and we all want that. And it's no shame to doing this. And the other thing I want to talk about is bereavement groups. Please get connected to a bereavement group, because if you do that, you're going to hear stories from other people who probably similar to mine, and etc. And they tell you in those stories what they're doing to help themselves. you know Nothing venture is nothing gain. The work is not easy, and it's ongoing. However, putting forth the effort and taking baby steps will help, because if you don't do that, then you're stuck. And then the pain and everything associated with this stays stagnated within you, and there's no outlet for it. If you need to cry, let yourself cry. Let yourself feel that pain, go through whatever you need to, because it's a release for the pain. Now, losing a loved one, you never ever get over it, but you can get through it. And remember that your loved ones will always want you to live your life to the fullest and not be in despair and depression for the rest of your life. Always keep that in mind as well. And I had to know that and think about, my mom would never want me to be depressed and in pain and in despair for the rest of my life, because she's no longer here. You get through it in ways that help yourself, like music for me. And when I feel that depression coming on, um, the other ways is just watching shows that, I like comedy shows and things like, I watch the Waltons. I do things that uplift me, listening to positive videos. Loving on yourself is number one, because when you learn to love yourself, then you're going to want to take the steps to help yourself improve and to get better. And it doesn't matter what anyone else around you feel or what they say. you know you're on a journey to heal. And it's important to keep doing those things, and it does help. you know um when you learn ways to help you heal, it's going to be slow, but it's going to improve your life little by little when you take those steps and keep taking those steps. Every day you wake up, you're not going to be happy and cheerful. You're going to have those days of depression and you don't feel like getting up. Tell yourself, I want to get one goal accomplished today, and try to accomplish that goal even if you don't get anything else done, but you took the step to get that one thing done. And that's important. And that's what I had to learn as well. And every day, guys, look in the mirror and tell yourself, yes, I'm imperfect, I make mistakes, but I love myself. You tell yourself that, and I deserve, you know to be happy, and I deserve love. And you do, and just take it one day at a time. And that's what I do every day. Never allow yourself to be part of the problem instead of the solution. That's important, because sometimes you have people around you, and when you're grieving, sometimes you have a cloud over you and you're not thinking clearly as you would if you were not going through whatever it is that you're going through. And people sometimes come around and take advantage of that. And you may not see clearly right away that they're taking advantage, but when that wool is pulled back from over your eyes and you see clearly, take the necessary steps to establish boundaries, with individuals, especially when you grieve and you have enough on your plate. That's what I had to learn to do, establish boundaries. And when I established boundaries, unfortunately, some people kept crossing them. I would communicate again. They cross it again, and I had to shut the door permanently and padlock it, cut off, block, and delete, because my healing is everything. And I'm not going to let anyone stop that because of whatever they're going through. Perhaps they need to go and heal and do the work as well. And I can't, you could take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. It's important for me to stay on this journey and to help others, because as we help other people and they start to get better, for example, you get better, you can branch out and help others. And then it goes on and on and on, because people need that today in a world of despair, and where there's an attitude of, I don't care, I got mine, you get yours the best way you can kind of world. And then, when I watch the Waltons, I think about a time where families all lived together and they helped one another when they had problems or issues. Everybody band together during those days and they helped one another. And it seemed like the matriarchs of those families are no longer here. They die off, and the tradition somehow is broken. It's not the same as it was back then, and it's just, hard today to know who to trust and who not to trust. All I can say, it's important, especially when you're going through grief, is to establish boundaries with other people. And it doesn't matter who they are, because you need that time to heal yourself and to grow, and to allow yourself time to be alone so that you can grieve. And like I said, it's nothing wrong with crying. It's not a sign of weakness or any of that. It's an outlet. It's a one way of an outlet for the pain, so you don't stay stagnated in that. And always keep your loved one's memory alive. Talk about them. Talk about what they brought to your life. I'm always talking about my mom, my dog, I talk about what my mom brought to my life, the lessons I've learned, etc. And I talk about it with my therapist, and I talk about it here as well. So one of the things I've learned to do is to turn that pain into a purpose. And one of the purpose is being here, talking about what I had to go through and how I got through it so it can help somebody else. And turning that purpose into power, and to keep moving forward. And I'm not concerned about, what other people feel on a negative. I just think about my growth and my healing, and how important it is for me to talk about it and to help other people. That is so important, people. Nobody's perfect, but as I always say, nothing venture is nothing gain. We have to keep moving forward. And, it's important not to stay stagnated. So that is the message today. Please share this with someone, because someone needs to hear this and know. And like I said, I just can't understand when a person want to stop someone from moving forward, and they want that person to stay in pain and stagnated. That means to me, when I see that, as that person doesn't want to heal, or they don't know how to heal, and they don't want to see the other person heal and grow. And when I see that in my own life, I have to just cut it out, cut off, block, and delete. And I talked yesterday, before I go today from this channel, because I have to go to work soon. But I wanted to say this, is that when people send me messages, like email messages, or I get comments here, mainly to my email, people send these messages. I will read the messages, but if it's full of negativity and toxicity, I am not going to entertain that, and I'm not going to get out of character to respond to these things, because I have grown and I'm healing, and I'm not perfect. None of us are, but I am not going to respond to those things. It felt like some of those messages felt like someone wanted to get me out of character to say or do something. I'm very disciplined, with everything that I do for the most part. When I see messages like that, I read them, and then I reread it to see, what's being said, so that I understand what's being said in those messages. And if it's full of toxicity, I just delete them. And not only do I delete the message, I block the person sending me the messages. So anybody sending anything negative, full of and messages that has nothing to do with the channel, I'm not going to even talk about some of the other messages I got. So I just go in, read them, and then I delete and block the user, because I don't have time to address things that are not beneficial. This channel is about helping people. And if a person is not about helping, then they don't belong here in this channel. You know, it's about helping people to grow and to, then pay it forward and help others. That's the message here today. And please be careful of scams is the last thing I want to say here before I leave today. Um, I get these messages of scams where people are trying to say I purchased something that I know I didn't purchase, because I don't visit their store or outlet, whatever it is. And so when you get messages or phone calls from places, and you know that you don't spend money there, be cautious. I would say report that to the Federal Trade Commission. Report it, because they need to know about those scams, because a lot of people fall prey to them, and then they lose their money and other things. Please be careful out here, people, because there's a lot of deception in this world today. And even, and sometimes when we're grieving, we don't see clearly. So please pay attention to your surroundings and everything that's going on, um, so that you can be awoke enough to address these issues so you don't get scammed. That's the message here today. Share this video with other people. Subscribe, like, hit that like button, and keep sharing, because people are also commenting about how much these messages are helping you. Thank you. This is Lisa, shedding love and light always. Wanted to encourage you guys and build you up. I will be back tomorrow with a new message. Stay blessed and stay good. Thank you for being here today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.